Shalom from Jerusalem. My name is Albert Veksler. I'm the director of Jerusalem Prayer Breakfast, and we are here with answers for allies from our office in Jerusalem. And together with me is a wonderful gift, a wonderful person, Billye Brim.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for being with us. And I mean, again,
It's an honor.
I am so thankful to you for bringing a tour group, for coming and being with us in this most critical, tragic, painful time. Thank you for being with us.
It's our honor to be here.
So you brought a tour group of, was it
63?
63 people.
Mm-hmm.
You were even working with some kibbutz.
Yes. Actually, we visited Billye. With all the people. We went to Ashkelon. But we worked in a farm and pulled weeds because they had lost their workers. The Thai workers, I think, had left during the war.
And it's so needed. You know, we went to pick tomatoes with my wife Haley, and that was during the wartime. So we had the wartime is still on. So we had alarms, bomb alerts.
We heard them. We heard them
come, and so it was very, very tense in a way. Even to work and pick the tomatoes, you could think of the hostages in Gaza. You could think of the soldiers on the front lines, and it's a horrible suffering. And despite all of that, we are talking about Jerusalem Prayer Breakfast.
That's right, exactly, which has a very important role to play. I believe that's why I enjoy and am thankful that the Lord opened up for me to be involved from the first one.
But you know what is interesting? Even the first one, this was the most remarkable thing that happened during the first Jerusalem Prayer Breakfast. You prayed.
I remember.
And you said, "Dear Lord, may the newly elected President Donald J. Trump recognize Jerusalem as the capital of Israel and move the embassy." And I remember he had just waived the embassy move, like all the previous presidents had done before. And then 6 months later, on your birthday,
on my birthday, December 6th,
he makes this declaration. He says, "I'm declaring the obvious. Jerusalem is the capital of Israel, and we will move the embassy." And right behind you is actually the letter he sent to Jerusalem Prayer Breakfast with his signature.
Ah, really?
So it's quite an amazing thing that this happened, and of course we couldn't think of this movement starting to roll all over the world. We've had now 19 Jerusalem Prayer Breakfasts. You were at the last one in Australia just a few months ago in Gold Coast, invited by the mayor Tom Tate, and we had some amazing delegations come from Fiji and Solomon Islands and several other island nations. It was quite a story.
It really was, yes. I believe that Jerusalem Prayer Breakfast is playing a key role in the judgment of the nations. There's judgment. There's answering for things. And so I've done a little book, looking up all the scriptures, which says nations as nations will be judged for how they treat Israel. That's the only thing. So I believe that what is happening with Jerusalem Prayer Breakfast is it's being presented to the nation. You have an opportunity. You, Fiji. You, Australia. You, Italy. You have an opportunity to be on the Lord's side, according to the Word of God. Bless Israel. You quoted Genesis 12:3, and it's very interesting that the last line of that says, and in the Hebrew, it has this connotation, that the families of the earth will bless themselves by blessing Israel. So nation by nation, they're going to choose to bless themselves or curse themselves.
Bring a blessing.
And I believe that Jerusalem Prayer Breakfast has the hand of God on it. It's touching government leaders. And it's touching people who could make such decisions. It's a very important thing.
You know, it's interesting that we will have our next Jerusalem Prayer Breakfast in Stockholm.
Oh, really?
April 4th and 5th. And we will be there by the invitation of the Riksdag, the parliament of Sweden. And you know, again, a few months ago in August, we had a delegation of 10 Swedish parliament members that came here, and they were able to meet with Prime Minister Netanyahu. He took 40 minutes with them. And you know what was interesting? He asked them, do you know when the last delegation came from Sweden, from the parliament? 1966, I think it was.
Really?
So, because you know, there's been so many governments that have not loved Israel in Sweden, but this particular government,
Really?
yes, with Ulf Kristersson as the prime minister, he declared from the beginning, we are friends of Israel. So there's a change, a huge
That's
change.
what it will take from the head of these nations. And you have entree with them. You have access with leading politicians, leading leaders. It's amazing. It's a God thing.
And it's going to, you know, bring an opportunity to Sweden.
That's right, right there, an opportunity to Sweden.
And we will of course, you know, pray for Sweden. We will pray for Israel. We will pray for the relationships, because you know that story of Raoul Wallenberg, the Swedish diplomat who was able to save, some say, up to 100,000 Jews.
Is that right?
From the you know, Hungarian Holocaust taking place, you know, the last last months of the war, and he was, you know, threatening the Nazis. He was sometimes bribing them, sometimes threatening them, telling them, you know, they have to let the Jews go. And I believe that an awakening will come to Sweden because of him.
Yes, because he sowed that good seed. And that's the way of the Lord. He blesses that seed that's sown. They don't know what happened to him, do they?
No, of course, there's an official story of the Soviets arresting him, and some even say that Brezhnev was personally involved, that he had the weakness, you know, of these, you know, American cars, and he had a nice car, and he had a lot of money on him, and so he disappeared. And so then they have the official, I think, report from 1947 that he had died in Lubyanka prison of heart attack, of course, or pneumonia. What else can it be, you know? And so, but there were others who saw him. They testified that they had seen him in Gulag, in the prison camps, even up to 1980. So a hero, a real hero.
A real hero.
And I mean, I wish there was many other heroes like this. I mean, there were the righteous among the nations.
There were.
But of course, not on that scale, not on that extent. And of course, not such a tragic ending that he disappears in the end of the Second World War. But we're going to Sweden. I wish you would come with us.
I'm getting ready to do, I am coming here, you know, in May and June. So I don't know. We'll see.
You're coming in May and June to the Jerusalem Prayer Breakfast in Israel?
Yeah, I'm coming to the one in Israel.
Wow. It's a treat. I thank you so much for making this possible for us, because every time you've come, it has been a miracle. We just talked about the first one.
I'll tell you, it's been a miracle for me. My goodness, did you know? Well, I better tell you this off camera.
No, tell the story.
Well, I was led of the Lord, since I'm going to be in Houston, write my partners, and we'll just have a little partner meeting. You know, we're building the place in Israel. And a woman gave us $1 million in that little meeting that we had after Jerusalem Prayer Breakfast. I was led to have it because I was going to be there anyway.
I like this. I think
for the building, you know, for the.
I know, but I think this is the beauty of the story. I like this side. I never heard this story.
No,
well, I am happy you told this, because this is so encouraging, because this is the blessing that should come.
Yes, it's a blessing. I'm so blessed in my life, Brother Veksler, Brother Albert, and I know it's because of blessing Israel. I know it.
And
my family is blessed. My children are blessed. They all serving the Lord. They all work with me. And blessings in every area of my life And I know it is because I blessed Israel.
You literally heard God say to you, come to
Yes,
Israel
I did.
and study Hebrew.
Yes, my husband passed away in 1986. And my children, the last child was through university. And so then here I am, and I have a ministry. It's kind of a fledgling ministry, you know. And so I actually went upstairs to one of the bedrooms, and I prayed. And my prayer amounted to this: what do I do now? That's the prayer. And I heard God say, I want you to study Hebrew in the land. I am going to place you close to the Jews, so close they can know your love and see your power. So that's what I did.
I liked your story also, how you went to the Knesset. What was it? What year was it? Must have been
1986, I came over to study at Opanakiva.
86
Mm-hmm.
or 96?
86. Mm-hmm.
But then you went to the Knesset, and was it Shulamit who told you to pray?
Yes. Well, that was
like
in the
it.
80s. That was
I
in
like
the
it.
80s. Shulamit, that Ulpan was nothing like a normal Ulpan. Shulamit Katzenelson, her family was part of the second Aliyah that came, you know, from Russia. Her brother, Shmuel Tamir, was the Minister of Justice. And there's a long story, I won't tell it all, but she was not going to teach. She was not. I had some friends who were working here on a government project, writing laws. And they said, well, the best Ulpan is that, but she won't take any Christians because they've been using that language from the Ulpan, you know, on the streets to missionary eyes. And so she's not taking Christians. But she took me. And then it seemed like she was so mean to me. And she was just, it's a long, long story. But one day we had Sukkot. And my husband had passed away in April. And she gave me a tongue twister to say in Hebrew. I barely can say Mashalomcha, Mashalomech. I get it mixed up. Shimcha, I get it all mixed up. And she gives me, and you know what? Power of God came on me, and I spoke the tongue twister.
You said it.
I said it.
Perfectly.
Perfectly. And then I cried. Because we had been having, she put up this big sukkah, you know, and she had a Hebrew University language professors there, and she had everybody there. And I just cried. And everybody got on my side. And for a long time they'd say, I was there in the sukkah. Well, the next day I thought, I'm going to be expelled from school. How am I going to tell my children? So the next day on the classroom door came a knock. Shulamit wants to see you. I go into her office. I'm sure I'm going to get kicked out of school. She says, you're not going to classes today. I said, well, I thought so. She said, you're going with me to the parliament. She said, they're trying to stop my girl soldier program. She had a program of teaching girl soldiers Arabic. She said they need to understand Arabic. And the funding, they were going to cut it off. She said, I've known the Minister of the Treasury since he was in kindergarten. She said, I'm going to take you there to the... She said, didn't you know any Jew that had to do with the rebirth of Israel had a dedicated Christian called alongside to help? I didn't know it. I didn't know then about Veksler and Herzl. I didn't know them. I didn't know about the tongue of the prophet, Eliezer ben Yehuda. And I didn't know this. She said, in the nighttime, something told me, you're going to help me. And she said, we're going to the parliament. And she said, I'm going to sit down here at the end of this table with the Minister of Treasury. I've known him since he was in kindergarten. You're going to sit down at that other end, and you're going to pray like you pray. Well, she knows I pray in the Spirit. That's what she meant. She was testing me, Albert. She was testing to me. Am I that kind of a Jew who Christian who under the sign of a cross takes them off to the Holocaust or rides in through the Crusades and chops them to pieces? Am I that kind of a Christian? No. I'm the kind of a Christian, they know you by your love. And that's what the Lord told me. I'm going to place you close to the Jews, so close they can know your love.
It's an amazing story.
It's an amazing story.
And what a fantastic lifetime of teaching you've also had. I mean, you have been teaching about Israel to the Christians for decades after decades
It's
after
true.
decades. And then bringing the groups here.
Yes. Yes.
So we're so thankful to you for coming to Jerusalem Prayer Breakfast.
Well, thank you. It's my honor to be there, and I plan to be everyone I can.
So May 28th,
May 28th, I'll be there for sure.
I would be very blessed to see you and your whole group. And we want to invite you all as well. I mean, you let us know if you can come. It's quite pricey, you know, traveling nowadays and being in a nice hotel like Waldorf Astoria costs a lot of money. But if you can come, we would be happy to accommodate you and invite you. So you let us know if May 28 to 30 fits your schedule. We would love to see you at Jerusalem Prayer Breakfast in Israel 2024. And remember to pray for the peace of Jerusalem, because they who love Jerusalem, they will prosper.
It's written.
It's written.
And I proved it in my life.
That was an amazing story. So thank you for joining today, and we'll see you again soon.